and welcome to Youth Code Jam's online bits and bytes lessons. Today we're going to be working with a new coding environment called Tinker, and we're going to be coding a training program for a ninja. So in this program, your student is going to code their ninja avatar, or actor is what they're called in this program, to avoid an object being thrown at them. So they'll get to kind of jump in the air and do flips and such. To get started today, we have a little bit of a longer link to type in than before. So if you need to, pause this browser and pause this video and pull up a different tab and go ahead and type in this whole link into your browser window. It's very important that you type this in exactly so that we end up in the same spot as the video continues. All of this is one line. Do not hit at the end of dashboard, don't hit enter or add a space, just add that backslash there and keep typing. Once you type in the E of home, hit enter and it will take you to the page. So once you're on the correct page, it should look like this. It says Tinker up here in the corner. There's a place for my account. We're not going to set up an account. We're actually going to scroll down to the end of the page where it says Workshop and click Create a New Project. And then the first option that says blank block coding project, that's the one we want. Okay, so when we start with this code, we have a default character here, and they're called actors. And that's all on the right side of the screen. So we'll have an actor list and then our stage, which we'll work within a bit. In the middle here we have our workspace, and then off to the side on the left we have our blocks. So if you've done any coding with us in the past, it's pretty similar to everything else that we've done so far. And I'm just double checking to make sure for setup we don't need to do anything crazy. All right. So there's lots of ways to add actors. We're going to keep this one as is and go ahead and click on the pencil next to our blue monster actor here that says edit. And it's going to pull up a pop-up window. When you're in the character studio, click on this button in the top left corner that says view all characters, and then select people from the left side menu. And then because this is a ninja game, we do want to use a ninja character. If you want to come back later, if you're a girl coding or you want to use the female ninja here, come back towards the end. Each character has different code attached to it, so we're going to use the ninja dressed all in black here. And once he is selected, press save in the bottom left corner. And then we're going to add one more thing. This is going to be the object our ninja avoids. So to add an actor, right underneath our stage here, we're going to press the Add Actor button and choose Media Library. And here you can see we have more options than before. We're going to select an orange ball. So I'm just going to come up to where it says Search Media Library and type in orange ball and hit enter. And that's going to bring up the character I need so I don't have to spend forever searching through it. And once you click on that, it will just add it to our code. Don't worry too much about them overlapping. We're going to fix that in a minute. So from our actor list here, go ahead and click on the one that says actor. So it still has the blue monster as our avatar there on the side, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. So make sure that's active. You should see it kind of highlighted and have a blue tab off here. That will let you know it's the active sprite. And then at the top of our coding space, that's where we're going to tell it where to be positioned when it starts. So right up here in our workspace where it says actor, you're going to see a little triangle that points to the right. Click that once. In the X box, type in -450, so -40. And in Y, type in -150, so -450 for X and -150 for Y. And then just tap into the workspace here to make sure Y is no longer active. So it gave us some default code, and we're going to keep some of this, but we're also going to make some changes. So the first thing we're going to do is delete all of these blocks inside the forever loop. So just click on animate and drag it off to where the trash can appears over here on the left and release. And then what do we need to do? We're going to add another motion block up here. So to go for that, on the left side, click on motion. It kind of looks like this ball with some movement lines coming off of it. And we're going to get the block that says point in direction 90 degrees. Point in direction. So that's going to be down here under rotation. So it says point in direction 90 degrees. We're going to add that under this set rotation block. And that's just going to make sure that our sprite is always, or our character here is always facing the right direction when we are moving them around the screen. So they're always upright and they're always facing either left or right, not up or down or upside down or anything like that. Alright, inside our forever loop, we're going to add some conditions to determine how our sprite should act. So to do that, we're going to need some if statements. So go to the control drawer, second from the top. You might have to scroll back up. We want this if false then else block, and you want the one that looks like a puzzle piece. You do not want this one that's a rounded rectangle. You want the second one. We're going to add that inside the forever loop. Hit that plus sign one time. So we're going to work with a couple conditions here, and it's okay if yours goes gray. It will fix itself in just a minute. If you tap off into the workspace, it will go orange again. Okay, so we're going to do a couple conditions here. So we're going to have a condition where if we're pressing a key, then something's going to happen, and if the orange ball touches our character, then something's going to happen. So for those conditions, we're using the sensing drawer. So you're going to have to scroll down on the left side of the screen here till you see sensing, which looks like a dot with some almost Wi-Fi lines coming off the side of it. And then we have we're going to get the key. It will probably be space. So key space pressed. Let's see if we can find that. Key. Alright, so if you have trouble finding, here it is. Key up arrow pressed is where it says. It's right over accelerometer. We're going to click and drag that into our first false blank, and then change up arrow by clicking on it to any. So any key you press on your keyboard will result in the action we build in here. And then the second thing we're going to do is add touching a clone. So this block right here, second from the top, touching a clone of mouse pointer. We're going to add that in the second false blank, and change mouse pointer by clicking on the word to orange ball. Right. So if we hit a key on the keyboard, we're going to have our ninja do a flip. So we're going to need a couple blocks from the animation drawer. So we're in sensing, and animation is just a few, shouldn't be that far. Animation's just 2 up. It has the bouncing dot on it. And the first thing we're going to do is set our animation speed. So we're actually going to grab 2 of these and place them inside that first if spot. So underneath key pressed any. So I'm going to add 2. The first one I'm going to change to be 50%. The second one we're going to leave at 100. The next thing I want is an animate and wait block, and I'm going to put those between those 2 speed blocks that we added. So it should go set animation speed to 50%, animate and wait, and then set animation speed to 100%. On that animate and wait block, hit that empty square, and then choose the flip animation. Right? And then in the next section, so in our else if statement, if the orange ball hits us, we're going to have our ninja fall down. So grab another animate and wait block, and this time click on the square and choose fall. And now this time in the last else statement, if we're not pressing a key and the orange ball is not touching the ninja, then we're just going to have the ninja look like they're running constantly. So come back to that animation drawer and grab just a plain animate block. Click that square at the end and choose run. Okay, so we're almost done with the Ninja. We're going to add a little bit more on the input so that we can actually move them around the screen while they're running. So go to the control drawer. Yes. And we're going to get go to the events drawer, my bad. Go to events, and we're going to get that when up arrow key pressed. So when up arrow is pressed, we're going to add that to our code. And then go to the motion drawer and get 2 glide 1 seconds to XY. So get 2 of these, glide 1 seconds to X0, Y0. Add them to our up arrow block. Change 1 to 0.5, so that's a half second. We're going to change 1 to a half second on both. X on both should be -450. So this means our character is going to stay along this horizontal line in that spot. And then we're going to let them move up and down. For the first one, change the Y to 20. And for the second one, change it to -50. So this will keep our character on the left side of the stage, but allow them to move up and down along that. Okay. Alright, so our Ninja, we're all done coding that. Now we're going to move on to the orange ball. So click on that in the actors list. Make sure it's active. You shouldn't have any code on the workspace now. It should be empty. Head over to the events drawer and grab an on start block. So anytime we press start, which is pressing this play button in the corner, anything that's attached to this block will run. Go to looks and grab a hide block. So you might have to scroll down a bit. Right here, hide. And then get a set size, so kind of right underneath hide is a set size to 100%. Add that to our code and change that to be 40%. So right now you guys can see it's pretty big. We don't want it to be that large, otherwise we'll never be able to avoid it. So we're going to make it smaller. Next, head to the control drawer. So it kind of looks almost like a recycle arrow here. Grab a forever loop. So from our loops, grab a forever and attach it to the block, the set size block. Then add a wait 1 second block. So that's going to be a little further down, I think. Yep, delay. Under the tab that says delay, select wait 1 second. And then up here under cloning, grab this create clone of any. Attach it to our wait block. And click on any to change it to self. Next, go to the operators tab. So it sounds operators right here. It has the less than or equal sign on it. We're going to get a pick random block. So pick random, it's up towards the top under math functions. It says pick random 1 to 10. Place that over the wait block, and we're going to replace the 1, and then change it to be 2 to 5 seconds. So 2, 5. So we're going to wait a random amount of time between 2 and 5 seconds. Next, head back to the events drawer, get a clone startup block, and just add that to your code. Go to the motion drawer and add a go to block. So go to X0, Y0. We're going to set X to be 700, and then Y we're going to get another pick random block. So that's back in the operators drawer, pick random, and our values are going to be -55 to -200. So we're telling it that when the clone appears, it's going to appear at the x coordinate of 100 anywhere along this range of y values, so -55 to 200. All right, and then we're going to go back to that looks drawer, and now we want to add a show block. So right now our ball is hidden no matter what. When the clone starts, we need it to show. So go back to the looks drawer and look for add the show block, which should be, all right. If we can't find a block, you can always come up to this search bar and type it. And here it is, show. We're going to add show right there. All right, and then we're going to add another glide. We're going to add a glide block so that we tell it where to move now. So go to the motion drawer, add a glide 1 seconds 2, change 1 to 1.5. So we're having it move a little slower than our Ninja, about a second slower. Change X to -800. So it's telling it which X spot it can travel along. And then Y is going to be Y position. So in the motion drawer, scroll down till you see a block that says Y position. It's a little oval. And place that over the 0. Okay, head back to control. And we're going to look for a block that says delete this clone. So that will be under the cloning tab section here. And then the very last thing we want to do is add a background to our code. So you can double click on the stage right here, click add a background, and then choose any background you want. This example uses the jungle, so that's the one I'm going to use. It's going to take you back to this pop-up window. If you're happy with this background, just click the X, and it will appear here. So our stage looks pretty small right now. If you want to make it a little bigger, you can kind of see this side pyramid of lines that they start big over here and get small. And you can see that my cursor's changed to a horizontal arrow that points left and right. We can drag our stage this way. It will make it bigger. And then go ahead and press play. And if I hit the up key, you can see my Ninja does some flips. You can see it knocks me down, but when I'm flipping, it doesn't knock me down. So you guys can play around with that for a little bit. That's a fun game. If you want to add some things, you can try varying the speed of that ball by testing out the code. So let's pull that back up. So the speed of the ball is kind of set between this wait block and this glide block, so you can decide how fast it reappears and how fast it travels across the screen by changing those values. And you can even add a score counter, which might be under operators. Might have to look for it, but you can also just type in score. Oh, you can create it using variables. So that's how you could add a score to your game. So you can look into that and make it a little bit more interactive. We have a few more lessons with this program, so if you're not ready to just do a lot of self-exploration left, pay attention over the next couple weeks. We'll have another one of these videos coming out on Wednesday, and then one on June 2nd, one on June 1st and one on June 2nd. This is the first of 4 videos. If you would like to attend our remaining Bits and Bytes sessions for spring 2021, you can come to our homepage, our website, youthcodejam.org. Under Find Programs, click on Bits and Bytes, and then register for the next live Bits and Bytes lessons. So these are free. They're from 4:30 to 5:30 Central Time, and we work through the lessons with the students. So if you'd like to attend any of the remaining lessons, our last one is June 2nd for spring of 2021. So you can sign up for them here. And that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll test out other activities with us. Thank you.